Hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn, and I'm really excited because I just joined the Rosie's Studio Creative Club, and I'm so thrilled. This is a really fun team and concept. So it's not the brand ambassador team, which has sort of all of the normal trappings of a design team. And I say that in the best of ways because I love being on design teams. But what's nice about being in their creative club is that I have been given a store credit to just shop their website and pick and choose what I would like to craft with. And over the next 6 months, you'll see me sharing projects with the things that I selected. The I wish I was local because the company, Rosie's Studio, the company headquarters is actually in New Zealand. And so if you were local there, then you can kind of spend your store credit maybe a couple of few times over the next 6 months, which is our term. And I think it wouldn't cost you a lot in shipping to put in multiple orders, but because it's coming from New Zealand and I am here in the US, not only, well, I thought that it would just take a long time getting to me, but it actually got to me pretty quickly. But the cost of shipping is pretty spendy. So I actually spent my whole sort of allotment and got everything all at once, which is also something really great as being part of their creative club because, well, I'm not necessarily working with their newest releases. It's an opportunity for me to kind of explore their entire backlog. So I love that. So I'm going to show you everything that I got. And so I did make sure that I got some of their more recent releases, and so I'll try to craft with those first while there's still good stock and inventory of them. But I did make sure to pick up one full bundle collection just to kind of show you a little bit of what you can get from Rosie Studios because it's a really great price point for these bundles, and you're gonna recognize some of this because Spellbinders does carry Rosie's Studios, and I think they actually made the Spellbinders card kits, and so but recently Spellbinders has been carrying them just a la carte. So I think the Bayfair collection was one that I crafted with on my channel. Love their papers. So this particular collection, it is an older one. This is called This Is Us. And it's this one's 12 by 12, but I do think they might have some 6 by 6 pattern papers. If you check out their bundles, their bundled collections, you're gonna see that it's a fabulous bargain, and some of the older ones are discounted, which is even more fantastic. So in the 12 by 12 that you get 20 sheets and 20 designs. So you just get one of each, which is heartbreaking, but these are single-sided. So at least you're not having to choose between two designs and having to sacrifice one. So there is that. And if you are familiar with the Spellbinders card kits, these aren't papers. They're not thin. These are actually kind of almost like a lightweight cardstock. It's really great stuff. Then in the full bundle, because as I mentioned, I wanted to at least get one collection that has its full bundle, just so that you can kind of see the assortment of things that Rosie Studios puts out as part of their collection. So there's some puffy stickers in some focal images that you can use in some sentiments, in some embellishments, hearts in this case, puffy sticker, sort of more words but larger and sort of gold foil. So you have those. You also have some chipboard elements. So we've got some chipboard, both sentiments and images. Then there's chipboard frames. And as well, there are journaling cards that you can get. So this is sort of their full collection here, and it kind of shows you the breadth of what you can find in their store. So this is their ephemera pack. I mean, look at how much you get in that. That's pretty fabulous. And then this is a floral ephemera pack. So a lot of times in the Spellbinders kits, like their holiday kits and whatnot, there'll be like a floral embellishment pack, and then there'll be an embellishment pack that has other sort of shapes and sentiments and whatnot. And then this collection also had a 4x6 stamp set that was designed for it, and it's got these really cute sort of those nested Russian dolls. So that full collection kind of shows you all of the various different elements that Rosie Studios does create with their collections. And of course, you don't always have to buy it as a full bundle. That's where you'll get the best price point, of course, but these things are available kind of a la carte, and they may not all be always available for every collection, but I picked this one because I felt like it had a really wide variety of things, and hopefully kind of showcases for you how it kind of all looks and what are all the different things that might be available with each collection that comes out. So then to show you some of their more recent collections, I have the Oh Joyful Day. This is a Christmas collection. So I've got their 6x6 papers, and as I mentioned, these are like the, what you would find in those Spellbinders card kits or their holiday kit, right? So it's not cardstock, it is paper, but there are foiled designs, and you get 40 sheets in total, and 20 unique designs. So 2 of each design. Really, really great that. And I didn't pick up the full collection, but I wanted to give myself enough elements to work with, so I did select both of their ephemera packs. So one is their sentiment pack, and then the other is their regular sort of images and shapes and die cuts. So that is Oh Joyful Day, which is relatively recent collection, a recent release. Then this is also relatively recent. I don't think it's their newest, but I only got the paper pad because it's gorgeous, and I have plenty of other sort of stamps and dies I know that I'll be able to craft with. This one's called Primavera, and again, 40 sheets, 20 designs, and 6 of them are foiled. But look at how soft and gorgeous these images are, and the color palette's really lovely. I do like that the patterns are kind of small repeat patterns, which for me, I kind of feel like most of the time that's easier for me to work with, and so really, really love that. That one's Primavera. Then I've got a couple more. Now some of these are older. So I've got Wild Wood, which I love the navy. This is kind of like a country cottage, French country sort of vibe to it. The sort of the butter yellow with the cornflower blues and the navies, a little bit of the corals, but really it's that blue and yellow that makes me think like French country, kind of like this print particular. So really, really gorgeous. Look how pretty that is. And can't wait to craft with all of these. Of course, I do my own mini one-sheet wonders, and so I'll be using these papers, 6x6 papers for that. Of course, I have my Easy Wonder dies, so I'll be using that. And I'm part of the Kendra's Card Challenge team, so I've got lots of different kind of sketches to pull from as I think about how I want to craft with these 6x6 papers. But you can never have too much, right? So this one's called Unconditional. Again, another really, you can kind of tell I really like the florals. I really like my, small repeat patterns. Tend to prefer things that are not like super graphical. Like this has several that have some very graphical elements, but there's just a lot of those are kind of few and far between, you know what I mean? So I feel like those are going to be fun to craft with, but I feel like florals and prints are going to be more, they're just going to have more longevity and more versatility. So I feel like these in particular being so nature focused, so floral focused, are going to be ones that are kind of, evergreen designs. I feel like for any occasion I can pull these out, and they're not too like thematic, they're not too graphical. So I really, really love that. And I tried, so this is how I shop when I'm allowed to kind of shop and pick my own stuff. So what I try to do is and with this last one, Nature's Gift, I did pick up the ephemera pack. I think it just happened to be sold that way as a bundle, because some of these things are like super clearance because they are older. And then, as I mentioned, I did try to pick up some newer releases. But I was trying to say that, when I'm shopping and I just have like a store credit to just go wild and shop to my heart's content, what I was trying to look for as I was making my selections was picking elements that I feel I can mix and match, because I kind of want to really be able to stretch, the store credit, the budget that I have to work within, but as well be able to get a nice variety so that I can showcase them to you. And so what I like about what I've chosen is because they are all very floral themed, and Rosie Studios does florals so beautifully, they're all going to be thematically very easy to mix and match. But then if you look at the colors, I think the colors will also mix and match between the two fairly well, because they're all somewhat soft in color palette. Like you don't have a very super saturated palette. And between, if I take pretty much any two, there's some overlap between them, and it may not be like exact, exactly the same color or tones, but close enough to where I think you can mix and match and it would look great. So here there's a lot of the mint greens are a little bit of an overlap. Some of the pinks are a little bit of an overlap. And so I think these ultimately there's going to be, good opportunity to kind of mix and match between them. And of course there's like some that are very neutral, and I'll be able to use that for anything. So there's that. Same with, if I look between these two, we've got some of the yellows that might be able to be pulled in from there. On this side, some of that cornflower blue and the navy could work really well with this one. And this has some corals and some pinks as well, which could work in this palette. But really, if I hold that up with this one, Primavera, you can kind of see some of those corals will go really nicely here. And of course, this has some pinks as well. So pinks, kind of a common thread through all of them. And, a very creamy off-white palette as well is going to work with a lot of these. So that's sort of, how I shop. And I think that's how a lot of us crafters craft as well. Like if you don't have a big budget and you can't pick up like the full collection and get all the things to go with it, then maybe picking up, a couple things here and there that feel like they would work well against multiple different color palettes. That helps to kind of give new life into maybe your existing stash and extend what you can do with what you already have. And you can pick up just, maybe one or two new things, and then, you have a whole new way of using and new looks that you can create when you start to mix them with your existing stash. And I think Primavera might actually work really well with this one now that, actually, this is going to work really well with it too. Wildwood, because it's got, a lot of the yellows and a little bit of the taupey colors. And so yeah, really, really fun. I'm really looking forward to crafting with all of these, but that's not the only thing I got. So, okay, I've already gone down this rabbit hole, folks. I saved this to last because I know my channel is mostly card making, but this is what I'm really excited about. So, I'm getting into this new thing. I've never heard of it before, and my Crafty Fun with Friends moderators know, because there was like a whole weekend where I couldn't stop talking about this, and I kept on sharing YouTube videos out to them. So, have you guys heard of this? Punch needling. So this is so cool. It's so fascinating. There's so many YouTube videos of people doing some really incredible stuff with it. But if you've never heard of it, I'm gonna do at least 2 videos on it, because I picked up 2 kits. I think there's 4, or maybe is there just 3? I didn't get all of the kits because I wanted to instead get maybe some of the other papers. It was so hard to choose because I spent all of my store credit and then some all in one go, and so that way I can make the most of the shipping costs. But punch needling, if you've never heard of it, is basically you are the top needle of a sewing machine. And and you're going to essentially sew this pattern onto there's actually a special cloth that is not the Aida cloth that would be normally used for embroidering or cross stitching. It's actually specially designed or specific or, ideal for punch needling, because this cloth, when you punch through it, you don't actually break the threads in the cloth. But instead, what happens is you kind of just like move the threads to one side to create that opening. And so what happens is that you if you have like an oopsies and then you have to kind of undo everything and take out some of your stitches, then you can actually kind of scuff it back up. They call it frogging, and the threads will kind of come back to their original weave. So it's called monk's cloth. I don't know if that's exactly what's in this kit, but let me just show you really quickly what all you get in here. So you're gonna get some instructions if you've never done it before, an embroidery hoop, which is about 6 inches. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that because one of the things I really appreciate about this kit is that embroidery hoop. Now here's the design. They've already either printed or drawn it on, and it might have been like, with a Cricut pen, kind of drawn on. But this cloth is, you can kind of see it's a pretty tight weave, because it needs to hold your yarn. And they've given us all the colors that we'll need for the particular design. In this case, there's 4 colors, and so 4 balls of yarn, and it's rather chunky too. You can kind of see the size of that, which I think is great. It's gonna have a really lovely design to it when it's done. Now, this is the actual punch needle, and I feel like this is a pretty nice quality. I mean, I don't know, it's wood, it's a decent size, really, really great. I've already gone down this rabbit hole, folks, so I've gotten, like a nice, not like your most top tier super expensive punch needles, but kind of an upgrade from what you would normally get in these kits. But this feels like a pretty nice one. You have an actual needle if you need to do any sort of fine detail work, but really most of the work is going to be done with this. And what's going to happen is you're going to thread your yarn through here. I'll just give a brief overview. And you're gonna put your cloth into your embroidery hoop. And the good thing about this hoop, it's plastic, so it's nothing, it's not gonna win any beauty pageants. So you might not want to necessarily like mount this as a finished piece and kind of use this as a frame to display your finished work. But this is a no slip hoop, which is really great and important, because when you are doing this, what happens is you're gonna put your design into the hoop like this, right? And what happens is your cloth is gonna get pinched between the inner and the outer hoop. Now, most embroidery hoops, when you look at them, this is just flat. So that means that when this gets stretched across, you can pull it and it can slip pretty easily. However, with a no slip hoop, see that's a channel there? And then on this side, it's like a tongue and groove system. So here there's this is the tongue part, that's the groove part. And what happens is that when your cloth goes between the two, it's going to clamp down like that. So it's way harder to kind of pull this, because the cloth is sort of getting pinched between the tongue and groove, and it's going down under this top part and then back up again. It's not just like going straight across like that. So that's going to be important, because when you do the punch needling, what happens is, your bit of art, I'm not going to do it for real. We'll save it for a tutorial. But I just wanted to introduce it in case anyone is new, but let me know in the comments, have you heard of this? Have you done it before? I'm so fascinated by it. But basically, you would get this all nice and tight, right? And then, and probably centered as well. And then you would use your needle and thread this. And you're going to act basically as a sewing machine. You're going to punch up and down, right along, the lines of the design. And what happens is that you are going to create sort of flat stitches on this side that you're punching down from. But then on the underside, you're going to create these loops. And this is actually going to be your finished side. And it kind of depends, because I've seen a lot of videos where they mix and match. Like sometimes they'll punch from the finished side to get like flat stitches, and then they'll mix and match that with punching from the opposite side to get the loops. And then still even more advanced tutorials I've seen, they will actually, once they have the loops, they will cut the loops and do sculpting, what's called sculpting. And so they'll cut it, they'll trim it, and then they'll create really fun, it's really fascinating, all the different designs and stuff that I've seen. So I'm gonna keep it basic. I'm gonna keep it simple, because I'm just starting out. I did go down the rabbit hole already and I did get a different needle that's adjustable. I got a hoop stand that's no slip. So I'm ready for all the things. But what I'm going to do is start with the kit, and then I'm going to go from there. And as I get more comfortable doing this, because there's going to be some ramp up time to really getting even stitches and whatnot. And so once I get to that point where I feel like I can do it more evenly, maybe I'll come up with my own different designs and use some of the more specialty equipment that I've already purchased, because I'm super excited for this. So stay tuned for that. And stay tuned for more projects featuring Rosie's studios. I'll leave links to everything in the description box below in case you're curious to check out any of these products or other products that are available at Rosie Studios. Thanks so much, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fabulous day. Bye.